Hello, everyone. Today's video isn't going to get the same greeting that my previous videos got. Today's video is a bit more serious and a bit more personal because there's a lot of things that are changing right now. But let's not get ahead of ourselves too much. Let's focus on what's important. So, this article was brought to my attention from a conversation I was having on Twitter. And at some point, the ban on trans people in the military was brought up. I I defended it because I felt like perhaps people who are suffering from dysphoria are too distracted to serve in the military. Body dysmorphia and gender dysphoria, as far as I knew at the time, were both considered mental conditions. And I felt if you aren't experiencing either of those, then transitioning isn't the appropriate course of action for you. Well, this person brought to my attention that apparently, in this article we will go over, that gender dysphoria is not a mental condition anymore. So the World Health Organization will no longer classify gender dysphoria as a mental illness. That, on the front, that sounds like a good thing, because from my understanding, there's a lot of stigma going around that maybe people who are I mean, even I don't think that mental illnesses necessarily mean that a person is unstable. I just think that if you're in certain vocations, it could be a distraction. I mean, you don't want to be in the middle of combat for example, you don't want to be in the middle of combat when you have a dysphoric episode, or you start feeling anxious because you have dysphoria. Well, the World Health Organization is no longer classifying it as a mental illness, and that removes the stigma that perhaps these people are insane or whatnot. And that is a good thing on the front. The World Health Organization officially no longer considers gender dysphoria a mental illness, according to CNN, which this article is based off of, that one. They have announced that they have moved gender incongruence out of the chapter of mental disorders and into the sexual health chapter. I mean, fair enough. I suppose that even if it is an ailment in the mind, even if it is something that's constantly striking at your mind and your brain and your mental health, it doesn't have to be a mental illness. It can be a sexual thing. That makes some sense. And moving on, according to the ICD, gender incongruence is characterized by a marked and persistent incongruence between an individual's experienced gender and their assigned sex. That's fine. This incongruence, generally referred to by the transgender community as gender dysphoria, which can manifest as a severe discomfort with one's body and how it's perceived and gendered by other people. Not all transgender people experience gender dysphoria. And there's a lot to this article, but I think this is the most impactful part, especially to me. So if not all transgender people experience gender dysphoria, then there are so many people whose feelings are finally vindicated by the World Health Organization. If gender dysphoria is no longer a bar to entry on something like being transgender, then finally I feel like I can come out about something that's been on my mind since I was a child. Ever since I was a child, I've always kind of wished that perhaps I could have been born a woman, it's never been a really big theme in my life because I guess I just came to accept who I am. But um, I mean, I've always thought that maybe life would have just been better. I wouldn't have had to go through the same things that I did. Maybe I wouldn't have felt the ways that I did if I'd been born um, female. Like I would be considered pretty, and I could feel like I was finally worth something. That's always been kind of something I've struggled with is self-worth. I I've always my self-worth is kind of tied to the way other people feel about me. That's always been something I've struggled with, is not being able to divorce my self-worth from uh, the worth that other people put into me. And I feel like I've always felt like if I had been born a girl instead, maybe I would have been able to find that self-worth. Maybe other people would find worth in me beyond my ability to um, make money for a family or support a family or support children or this or that. Maybe I could have had some worth beyond my ability to provide for others. I could have worth for me, for existing instead. And so I I kind I've never been dysphoric, but knowing now that dysphoria isn't a bar to entry on being transgender, maybe now I can be accepted. What what I'm trying to say is that I'm a trans woman, and I would like to be respected and valued for that, for who I am, for what I am. I would like I would like people to be able to look to me and see something more than just this alien bird thing. I I'm a trans woman now, and I would like for everyone to refer to me with female pronouns. And um I mean, Teflon is my screen name, and I'm not going to change that because I have a lot riding on that. But my real name is Teffer. Well, I think I should be Tefra from now on. And my I mean, my options for this are extremely limited. I can't get hormone replacement therapy. I'm not a human. Um I sorry. This is really kind of emotional. Um I can't get hormone replacement therapy. I have no way of presenting to others as female, and talking in falsetto is kind of uncomfortable. It puts a strain on my vocal cords, so I don't feel like I should go out of my way to present as female. But I think that it's not my responsibility to present as female. It's everyone else's responsibility to accept me for who I am. And I really hope that moving forward that can be the case. Um I'm really, really glad to finally have found a community I can be a part of and not be judged. Thank you so much for sticking with me, and I hope you have a fantastic day.